Longevity, biohacking, wellness is taking over the world. And finally, we are waking up. But we've taken this journey around the world to learn what are the most important things when it comes to hacking our DNA. And today, we're going to show you those 3 things.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people out there that are always talking about things outside of you that you need in order to optimize. And we believe it's a little bit different than that. Everything that you have is inside of you. So we want to teach you our favorite tools that are our essential stacks for longevity and upgrading your DNA.
And funny enough, it might be a little unconventional, but for us, that's where it actually starts, not the opposite way around. So the 3 things start with your mind, specifically your subconscious mind. And so maybe you want to tell a little bit of a story how you've been reprogramming yourself.
So we all have this thing called the monkey mind. And it's funny, I actually have a story. I was talking to my mom the other day and I was telling her that Pavel was doing a fast and going to the dark room, which he does every year. But she was like, why would anybody do that? And I was like, well, it's because we all have an inner voice that you can't hear sometimes when we put so much clutter over that voice. And that could be like food, that could be what we consume subliminally. And she was like, oh, well, I have an inner voice. I hear it all day, all the time. And I was like, no, that's not your inner voice. Your inner voice is the one beyond that. The voice that you're hearing is your monkey mind. And so this is why it's so important to make sure that your subconscious thoughts are working for you. So my story runs very, very deep, and I've basically spent my whole life trying to recode this, but I didn't know recoding is what I actually needed to do. So I was born with a genetic hair condition that makes my hair break off, sometimes bald and patchy. And I was like, once I understood that you could recode everything in your life, I was like, how can I apply what I've learned to my hair? Something also I really is important that I want to tell you about. Robert Edward Grant, he did this work on decoding the universe with numbers. So he basically found that you can make a strawberry from equations. And so when I saw this, I was like, that combined with your thoughts create your reality. These are all kind of concepts that we've dealt with. But when it came down to every single thought, every single vibration can be correlated all the way back down to a number, and the universe is encoded into these patterns, I was like, I can repattern this. And this is what I'm going to teach you. And actually, once I started recoding and becoming conscious of the root cause, my hair started growing. And so you can do this with anything. And it's just, again, becoming conscious of what's controlling you and then recoding it.
And so this is not really a new thing. It's funny, we've been on this journey for well over 15 years, this transformative journey to seek the truth on every level. And so everywhere we go, we start seeing the patterns in recoding through mantras, recoding through writing, rewriting your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. And we've been teaching this to others, and it wasn't really until the AIs came in that it can be, very well and efficiently done for you. And so this little girl right here, she always finds the most coolest things. And so one day she comes to me and she was like, hey, I found a formula how to rewrite my hair condition. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what we need to do with any negativity, any negative stories. And going back to our DNA, we have a dormant DNA that simply needs to be reactivated to its fullest potential. And the fullest potential is that we are not meant to, die at 80s. We're not meant to live this limited life. And so that led us on this journey through AI.
Well, yeah, also segue. There's like everything. So there's actually these like whales that live in the ocean. They're like these big fish. I forget what they're called. But they actually are considered like the immortal fish because they live for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so it's interesting because we're like, hey, humans can live longer. There are animals that live longer. So this is not something we're reinventing. We're not reinventing recoding. This is why in ancient cultures, they have mantras like Sat Nam.
Different sound, code, vibration, imitation.
That means certain things like here, now, or like, it's like
that means eternal life.
Yeah. But it's like, and then our minds get taken with social media and get implanted with these informations. I'm not good enough. This person has what I, want, so I'm lacking. All of these thoughts get imprinted in our brains through experiences, but especially an accelerated way through social media. And so, yeah, I believe that AI can really be a useful tool when we use our consciousness to direct it. I, in my own brain, cannot download all of Robert Edward Grant's work, but I can prompt AI to make me a recoding that is positive, that's something that I can repeat in pertaining to my particular issue. And you can apply this to yours. If what you're dealing with is physical, I put the prompt a little bit different than if it's metaphysical.
So she actually just recently did a coding for me because I've been going through some emotional, mental issues or trauma.
If it's health or body related, I will actually prompt the AI. So there's this lady, her name is Julia Cannon. She's the daughter of Dolores Cannon, and she has a book called Soul Speak, which is all channeled information from her mother's work on how conditions manifest in the body, like what the message of that condition is trying to tell you. So first, this is how you want to work backwards from it. So if it's a hair issue, or if it's a health issue. For example, if it's a hair issue, you would want to say, in Julia Cannon's book, Soul Speak, she talks about how issues manifest physically in the body. If I'm dealing with hair, if I'm dealing with autoimmune, if I'm dealing with chronic fatigue, what does that mean showing up in the body? And then it'll come out, it'll tell you the root of the problem. So like, for example, if you broke your leg, and you're trying to recode and heal your leg, or you keep having knee problems or something, when you put this in, it's gonna say like something like your legs are tied to moving forward. And the more information you give it, like for example, my hair is beaded, patchy. You wanna give it examples of how it shows up in the field, because this is really important information for the AI to know. And then it'll tell you, hey, this is manifesting because you're not moving forward in your life. It's pertaining to past life. So the main thing is like, you wanna become conscious of what's going on.
Everything is in patterns. And so more aware, more conscious, so to speak, you become on this path, more you're gonna be good at pattern recognition, and more you will start living from a place of what am I creating through this old thought pattern that maybe I have created for myself as a protection mechanism from, let's say, childhood, and then now I'm perpetuating the same cycles over and over again. So everything has a initiation, everything has a start, everything starts like a seed somewhere, and we kind of decode that through our awareness. And if we're not sure, sometimes you can also do just general maintenance. By the way, this is the work that we do at our system reset events, where we do breath, dance, meditation. We use these recoding exercises exactly for this reason. A, to figure out where it's coming from. B, how do we recode it in a real life? But no matter where you are right now, it all starts with the subconscious mind recognition, because that's what's running like a software in our life.
Yeah, so then generally it spits out like what emotion or what pattern is associated with whatever thing that you're dealing with. And once you have that pattern, that's when you can prompt the AI to say, based on Robert Edward Grant's work that pertains to the universe being coded down to mathematics, give me a daily mantra to recode. I would say in my situation, my hair that pertains to recoding shame, recoding disconnection from source. Per Julia Cannon's prompt, having fragile or broken like hair strands is related to not being connected to source, having fragmented feelings towards your self-worth. It could be doing with shame or dishonor. And so once you can kind of identify what those patterns are, then you use Robert Edwards Grant AI prompt. So yeah, then it'll spit you out like a daily mantra. If you want to learn how to recode whatever you're struggling with, click the link down below and we'll give you a free PDF of all the AI prompts on how to exactly A, become conscious of your subconscious mind and your subconscious patterns so that they can work for you, and B, how to have a perfect script for what you're dealing with to recode this pattern so that your mind is working for you.
To come back to it, step 1 is to recode your subconscious mind. Now, let's go into the step 2, or the second part, is get the right vitamins. And again, as we mentioned at the beginning, everything is a little bit unconventional for us. And the most important vitamins that we find to take in life is very simple. First one, vitamin S. It stands for smile. There's a beautiful Taoist meditation I've learned that you actually look at your 5 most essential organs and you imagine yourself, for example, looking at your heart and smile at your heart. You allow the energy of smile to open up. We tend to be so tense. We're constantly in fight or flight, fear. And while we're tensing, while we're not opening up that innate smile, smile has been proven to literally alter our way of life. The second one is vitamin G, which stands for gratitude. Gratitude has been proven to rewire your brain. When you are constantly in a state of gratitude, especially in the hardest times, and I'm not talking about, oh, I'm so thankful for, my wife. Did you see that? This was very thoughtful, but not emotional. It's like, I'm so grateful for you, honey. Just kidding. We have to bring gratitude back. Gratitude is so potent, and maybe you write it, then you feel it, because the feeling of it is the most important. So you want to really, do it up until that feeling comes into that life feedback. So smile, gratitude, and then the last one is vitamin L, and it stands for laughter. We gotta laugh more. And, it may be hard at first. Again, we do that in our events. We make people laugh out loud. And I always say, especially for those of you that it's the hardest, that it's hard for you to laugh, maybe look into the mirror at home and start cracking yourself up until you literally, it becomes contagious. So vitamin S, vitamin G, and vitamin L is the second most potent part, is taking those vitamins on a daily basis. They're free. The third part is to surrender.
Yeah, there is so much beauty that can be found in surrender. There's actually a funny story that I don't even think I even told you about this, but if there's one thing you gotta know about me, I hate ice baths. And I always think it's like comes at the perfect time. But the other day I was doing sauna and ice bath, and I was in the ice bath and I was in there for probably about 3 minutes. And I started getting the most euphoric feeling ever. Like I felt like I was on drugs, you guys. And I got out and I just kept feeling like literally the most happiest euphoric feelings. And it was just the perfect reminder that when you're able to surrender in these uncomfortable situations, there's so much bliss, so much beauty, because we're holding our own poison when we just keep perpetuating these thoughts or patterns without fully just letting go into them.
Surrender to your beauty. Surrender to every moment. Trust every moment. Fear is safe. I want to repeat this. Fear is safe. And for so many of us, we tend to focus on the bad, on the fear. But in order for us to have the most incredible longevity, it's about experiencing every emotion, every feeling. One of the most powerful ways, whenever I'm struggling, I smile at my heart and I say, I welcome the emotion. I welcome the feeling. Surrender is the way of the upper aeons. It is the way of love. And even though not always it's hard to surrender, even the hardest situations are teaching us something. Everything is a gift. And this gift we wanted to share with you.
Can you explain why fear is safe? If I was to explain it, fear is a cry for safety. So it's just a reminder that at the end of what you think is scary is actually safety. It's the same with anything else. Like at the end of pain, there's love. At the end of shame, there's love. So we get served these situations and these experiences in life that show us where we need to fill ourselves with more love. Take it from us, we've probably taken all of the longevity stacks, all of the supplements, especially him.
I've spent over $1 million over the time on all of
You think only $1 million? That's a lie. It's way more.
Stem cell trainings, education, ayahuasca retreats, and literally, you name it. Over the last 15 years, we've done it. And it comes down to these 3 things.
Yeah, these are the 3 most potent things that live inside of you that you can access at any point in time.